found who the Indiana Fever are going to be bringing in when Dantas is at. Who the Indiana Fever might have been bringing in. I don't know how true this is. This is recent footage of Jillian Lane working out in Fever gear. Recent. And I don't know, like, this makes sense. This makes sense because if you guys have looked, almost every single Hardship player, or almost every single player that's been brought in, is a player that was already on the team. It is. It was a player that was already on the team. Like, the Valkyries brought back Chloe Bibby. They brought back Caitlin Chen. They brought back Letitia Amiher. They brought back everybody. And this is a rumor, and I mean, I think there might be some merit to this rumor. And I'd like to see how she get on, in fairness. I didn't think she looked good in preseason. I didn't think she looked good in preseason at all. But it's something, I guess. It's something. She's big. She's strong. She's a bit mobile. Is that, like... That's the only thing I'm trying to think of the positives. I'm trying to think of the positives right here of Jillian Lane. And I can't really think of any. I can't really think of any positives bringing in Jillian Lane. I don't know what that fixes. I don't know what Jillian Lane fixes, if we're being honest. I mean, she cooked over in Europe, I guess, but I mean, it was a good stat, bad team, I guess. Like, she's what? She's old. She's old, in her 30s. She's 30, nearly 31. She's played, am I right in saying she's played 0 WNBA games in her career? No, she's played 7 WNBA games in her career. Like, I don't know if this is the answer. I don't know if this is the answer. But I have a weird feeling it will be. Like, it would go to form, by the way. It would go to form. Every other team has just gone and signed players that they just had in preseason. They've gone and re-signed the players they've had in preseason. 30 is young for the Fever. You're not wrong. She's 30. And doesn't play fast. Like, again, to say Jillian Lane is a bad player is just false. Like, she's not. She killed it in Turkey. But at the end of the day, she didn't look like she belonged in preseason. She didn't look like she belonged. And I mean, I think that that matters. That matters. Like, her highlights look good. Her game looked good. I think her all around. I think, is she an upgrade on Bree Turner? Sure. I think that's the way we have to look at it. Is she better than Bree Turner? But can she play in Caitlin's system? Hell no. Hell no. She can't play in Caitlin's system. Like, there's no question about it. She can't play in Caitlin's system. But at the end of the day, they clearly don't care about can players run. They clearly don't care. And that's the that's kind of the main thing, is like, I think they're just looking for players. I think they're just looking for bodies. Like Klianikova was available. Heck, I would have taken Bree Hall at this stage, even though I know she hasn't played for the Valkyries. I would have taken Bree Hall on this roster. I would have taken Jaylen Brown on this roster. She at least tries. And as expected, she cooked the Fever, just like she did last year, and has done nothing to anyone else. But, yeah, like, I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with the Fever. And I think it's likely. The likelihood is she's out here warming up in Fever gear. Shooting around in Fever gear, and I have a feeling they're going to take her. It looks... This is a very, very lazy front office. It's a very lazy front office. And I think they're probably too busy worrying about how they can market, what their next marketing campaign is going to be, to sell more t-shirts and to flex on the rest of the league. I think they're more worried about that than they are about the players. So it's a tough one. I think it's a really, really tough one to watch when you're looking at when you're looking at this. I think it's a tough one to see what's happening, because I don't exactly know what players the Indiana Fever could get. I genuinely don't know what players they could bring in. I don't know. They can't bring in someone from EuroBasket because EuroBasket's still on. If you're looking at EuroBasket, who have been the good teams? If you've been looking at the good teams in EuroBasket. So, these are the games right now that are happening. The quarterfinals are happening. They're happening tomorrow. But if you look at the good teams, does Kiara Linskins fit? Not really. Not in the full court anyway. She might be able to back up Aaliyah, but that's about it. But I'd still take Kiara Linskins over anyone they have at the minute, over Bree Turner. If you're looking at the French team, obviously Ileana Rupert, the Valkyries have her rights. Ileana Rupert would be perfect. The Valkyries have her rights. But a player that I think could probably play a bit at the 4 or 5, Marianne Badian, she hasn't been ideal. She hasn't been great, but I'd still take her. I'd still take her at this stage. This France team is nice. I don't know if someone has the rights to EI, but I would consider bringing her over as a wing presence. But at the same time, she can move, but is she going to help with the 4 or 5? I don't think so. I'm looking through these teams. I'm there's nobody. On the Spanish team, if you're looking at the Spain team, their bigs are Awafam. Who's 18 and going to be in next year's draft. They can't get... The Mystics have the rights to Carrera. And then kind of a lot of their team are kind of older players. And again, they've got, a center averaging 0 points. They're an undersized team, and the best player they could probably bring in is just the all-around play of Mariana Ortiz, who just does everything on the floor. I would love for her to come in. I would love for them to bring in her as this kind of do-it-all player around Caitlin. But, I'm looking through... I watched a lot of EuroBasket. There's no teams. What post players would I be yeah, it would be great? Of course, Emma Mason. If the Indiana Fever can bring in Emma Mason, everything changes. But they're not going to be able to bring in Emma Mason. They're not going to be able to do it. The Dallas Wings had Geisel Soder. Geisel Soder would be a perfect player. Maybe you take the risk, but she's not a 5. Maybe you take the risk, the long-term risk on Frida Booner. Maybe you take the long-term risk on her, averaging 16 points per game in the group stages at EuroBasket. She's 20. She turned 21 years old a few weeks ago. Maybe you take the risk on her. She can shoot the ball. She's aggressive. She rebounds, but she's undersized. I don't know how she's getting on to the WNBA, but she's so young that maybe you take a risk on her. But I'm watching EuroBasket. I'm I don't even know what players fit. I don't know what player they can bring in to fix them this year, and I don't think there is one. I don't think there is a player they can bring in to fit this year. I actually don't think there is a player that they can bring in that will fit. So Jillian Lane, why not give her a shot? She can't be worse than Bree Turner.